Welcome back, nieces, nephews, everything in between and or otherwise, to another episode of Analysis Time, where I talk about Adventure Time too much for too long. And today, we're talking about the Jiggler. Finn and Jake are playing around in a field singing baby songs after saving their friend Stanley when they meet a little guy who whistles and jiggles. They bring him back to the house and decide to keep him as a little pet, obviously. And in doing so, you wouldn't believe it, hijinks ensue. Bring it back up. Before the episode fully starts, I just want to let y'all know that I'm having those mic glitches again for this video. I don't know why. I'm going to try something out next time I record, make sure it doesn't happen again, but hopefully this will be the last time it happens. Though there won't be any audio delay stuff. I made sure to keep on top of that throughout the whole video, but just want to let you guys know because I'm not going to point them out every time, but they'll be pretty obvious. Alright, bring it back. Alright, man. This is another infamous kind of title card where we have what I would have to assume is Finn's arm laying in this pile of white juice with the Jiggler title right there above it. And this page is like really deep ripped right here. How about that? But yeah, obviously this looks like a hand that is laying in a pile of cum with cum on it. Yeah, I'll just say the thing that we all think is so funny. But it's so strange because the Jiggler's juice that it like splurts out later is purple. It's not white at all, and it couldn't even be mistaken for white. And to have it like splattered on the arm and the hand here, that's so strange. I really don't know what they were thinking. Maybe originally it was like milk or cum, but they changed it and this is title cards left over from it. Or maybe they just wanted to be funny, see if they could get away with that. We know that they were weird with title cards from Inkyridian, that they were trying to get away with that last time. Maybe not. Somebody left a comment about it. I'll put that up. But yeah, very strange title card, and it doesn't have the like 10 cents thing. But yeah, super weird. I don't know. Before the episode really starts, I want to say real quick that with the IMDb for this episode, there's only 3 credited voice roles. Jeremy and John, obviously, for Finn and Jake, but then the only other voice role credited for this episode is D. Bradley Baker as the Jiggler and the Mama Jiggler, which makes sense because those are all the characters in this episode, aside from the watermelon guy, I forget his name, who doesn't speak. So yeah, pretty funny. Very short cast list on this one. Possibly the shortest. Could be wrong. Maybe not. Maybe Jake the Brick. Maybe. We'll see when we get there. But I just thought I'd mention that. Pretty funny. What is this? It looks like Ganon's castle from Ocarina of Time. Pretty close, honestly, with the large towers and like the pit surrounding it. Possible reference to Ocarina of Time? Possibly, maybe not. But yeah. Oh, this mountain has like a scared face. And it's burning down, and Finn and Jake, they rescue these like food people who may not be actual people. Maybe Finn and Jake are just weird. But they rescue them from this burning castle or kingdom or whatever. And I wonder what happened there. The episode Adventure got kind of cut off on that episode. What am I talking about? Weird phrasing. But we're about to get into, I think, the first Adventure Time song in the series. Because throughout the show, they have these little weird kind of songs they do, little ditties. And I think we're about to get the first one, which also introduces us to Finn's computer voice. I'm going to have to cut most of it or speed it up or whatever to get around the copyright. I'll try to keep as much in as I can or just the best parts. But this is the first one. And I really love that intro.
How can you sing like that, dude?
Remember when I swallowed that little computer?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's Finn's little computer singing voice thing. And you'd think, especially with early Adventure Time, it's one of those one-off jokes that, you know, it's just funny that Finn swallowed a computer and he can sing funny. And it would just be for that episode. But this is something that they keep up with throughout the entire show, surprisingly. Throughout the entire series, Finn will sometimes break into song and he'll have like an auto-tune voice just to keep it fun.
Hello, hello.
Hello, well, I'm Davy. It's helping my brother Glob.
And I think it's cool that they took one of these early episode things and made it like a staple of Finn's character. Kind of like how Finn is colorblind, but it's only ever brought up that one time.
It's like a dark grayish red, mostly gray. Sometimes red things are gray.
You're a little colorblind, and there's nothing to be ashamed of.
Oh, Whoops.
And that was one of the later season episodes. And you'd think that would be something that they would keep up with, especially at that point. But no, instead we get the computer voice being one of Finn's staples. Also, it's a pretty creative way to have Jeremy Shada sing and have him sound however they want without having to worry about people being like, that's not what he sounds like. And well, actually, he just has a computer voice, so he can sound like anything. Especially with Jeremy Shada being so young and how his voice is so susceptible to change at this age as he's going through puberty. So it's just a fun way to make things easier for the writers, the audio engineers, that kind of thing.
All right, Stanley, you and your family are safe.
Stanley's family, Stanley's one of these watermelons, is a pear, a banana, a pineapple, and like a bunch of sausage links and some marshmallows that Jake was carrying. Jake had Finn carry all the heavy stuff.
Again.
Seriously, Stanley, for a watermelon, you get into trouble way more often than you should.
So yeah, do you guys think that Stanley and his family are actually alive, or are Finn and Jake just weirdos, just playing around with dumb stuff, with these fruits and foods? Or possibly, do Finn and Jake actually think they are alive because they do know so much, like, living food people from the Candy Kingdom alone? I didn't think about that. That's a fun theory. Whoever thought of that? I did. This cloud back here looks like a hat. I also like this. We learn later it's like the cave or like the nest of the Jiggler species. But I think it's a really unique design with all these trees, and this foliage kind of makes the roof of it. And these trees are just growing through each other. It's a cool look.
Whoa!
Baby, you looking so good.
Keep it going, man.
Man, what the hell is this creature? This is such a weird little creature. Especially weird even in a show like Adventure Time, where they love having weird little creatures. But the Jiggler, it has like these floaty, stretchy arms that it could do whatever with, it looks like. Yeah, it could stretch its arms, and it like whistles to communicate, and later it can photo print out images with its kisses. It's such a strange little creature. And it does even weirder stuff later. Oh god, the Jiggler is one of the strangest creatures in the show. I never understood what the hell this thing was supposed to be. And it almost looks mechanical, especially the way that it floats around its arms here. It doesn't seem like a biological creature almost. And the color scheme is also very like robotic. It's so strange. What a weird creature.
You looking like you might just start crying.
Jake had that sound again when he stretched from Summer Party Panic, that boom, boom. He does that a few times in this episode. I pre-watched, I'm sorry. I was at a friend's house. But listen to that sound Jake makes when he stretches up.
Might just start crying.
Weird.
It looks like he's got two jiggly bellies stuck together. He's the Jiggler.
I never got why they called him the Jiggler. Finn says he looks like two jiggly bellies, but he doesn't really. His two jiggly parts, the top half and bottom half, they're pretty stationary for the most part. They don't really jiggle at all. If you want to say the Wiggler, yeah, I could give you the Wiggler, the way he wiggles his arms and stuff. The Jiggler name felt like kind of like an industry plant thing. Or it's like, yeah, it jiggles and stuff. And I was like, yeah, if you say so, I guess.
Little baby feet.
Welcome to your new home.
They do this wipe transition a lot. I was watching some episodes the other day, and they kept using this transition.
Baby feet.
This one. They do it a lot early on. Just easier to get through these scenes, I guess.
Welcome to your new home. Feast your eyes on everything.
This is one of the best looks we get at the interior of the treehouse. And for the longest time, I always thought the treehouse was like always done pretty inconsistently. But seeing it here and like I was checking for stuff later, this is pretty much always how it looks. Pretty consistent. On this side, they have the like kitchen area, the sinks right here. You can see a little bit of the bubbles there, and then the stove, and then tables, and then sometimes they pull a table up over here to eat. I love all these like computers and stuff up here. And then back behind Finn over this way is like the living room area where they have like a wooden couch, or not wooden couch, but the couch right here. That's where the lady on her side, that painting's at.
Enough hygiene. Let's get to it.
Oh, here's an even better look at the whole top up here. You can see things got shifted over a little bit from the shot earlier where Finn came in right here and he panned over all this. Just because I don't blame them for that. It was just probably just an easier way to shoot that scene. But yeah, this is the living room, and this is, like I said, pretty consistent. This is like the sink right here, I think, and then the stove and all that. I mean, this is where Finn keeps his Finn cakes every now and then when he makes them. Finn only. And then up here is the way to the bedroom, and then up here I think is the way to the second living room, which we see sometimes. I'll point it out when we get to it.
I'm not tired. How about you, Jake? Maybe we should go upstairs.
Oh, and look, there Finn goes up the stairs to the bedroom, like I was saying earlier.
Good night.
Finn must have been really tired. He went to bed fully clothed with his bag on at the foot of the bed. Oh, and look, there's that like, well, I was gonna say fake Enchiridion that when I broke down the original intro, we could see in the background. But at this point, Finn does have the Enchiridion, so maybe this is the Enchiridion right here.
Morning, Jake.
Oh man, and look at that. We get to see Jake's favorite cup in the entire world right here, which was pointed out in Puhoy when Jake was like, this is my favorite cup, and then he throws it. But yeah, look at that. That's the cup right there, which always kind of bugged me with Puhoy when Jake was like talking about his favorite cup, because at that point I had never noticed this, and then whatever other times that he did use it and I didn't notice. And I was like, this is kind of random. Jake's never even used this cup and he's saying it's his favorite. But yeah, look at that. I'll eat my words. They're right here. The cup is right here. And we get to Puhoy. I'll point out the other times he might have used it, including this one. Pretty cool. I never noticed that.
Let's get this party started.
They're doing a lot of Finn's computer voice for this episode.
Yeah, okay.
Jake's cup reminds me of a Ghast from Minecraft.
Slam a cow. That fool looks rumped.
We don't hear a lot of Jake using these Finnisms, like slam a cow, mathematical, that kind of thing. But he does here, so that's pretty funny.
I bet he just needs some breakfast. Then let's just give him some purple whatevers.
You mean the grapes?
Yeah, whatever.
It's really funny that Finn doesn't know what grapes are called, because at this point he's still pretty young. He kind of probably grew up in the Candy Kingdom, so to speak, and so he probably doesn't know a lot of like proper foods at this age, like grapes or fruit. But he does know Stanley in them, and he knows he's a watermelon, so maybe Finn just had a brain fart. Also, Finn, he munches down like the whole like stem and everything. You can't see any stems, but you know, that's how grapes work. He just downs that whole thing. It always grossed me out how when Jiggler eats the grape, it just kind of goes underneath his skin, and then it looks like a nose there. It doesn't like, he doesn't have like a mouth or like a throat or proper stomach, or it's not working right here. Yeah, it always grossed me out how it lumped under the skin like that.
That doesn't sound good.
Oh man, the Jiggler is a visual treat. Let's break down those colors. So it comes in and it freaks the F out. So that's his natural color as it is now, the gray and white, and then green and blue, and then like, ooh, like a darker green, an orange, black and white. Yeah, the Jiggler just freaks out. And Finn's freaked out too. Yeah, this guy flips the H out. Maybe, and this is like such like a kind of like a robotic, glitched out kind of way of moving. Maybe the Jiggler species is some kind of like bio-organic machine kind of creatures to be moving like this and glitching and make these kind of sounds, that kind of thing. I don't know, that's strange. I never really thought about the biology of the Jiggler. Interesting. Especially with the sounds it's making.
You think we fed the wrong hole?
He just doesn't like purple whatevers. Just figure out what he does like to eat.
There's that transition again.
Here, Jiggler. What kind of food do you like? Meat?
What is this? Why does he draw this to represent meat? I have no idea. I guess like a person is meat, you know, like a dog or a horse or a cow is meat. But it's very strange to draw this specific
The
face.
banana? This looks like corn, hot dog, Stanley the watermelon.
He gave Stanley a face, so maybe Finn sees Stanley as like a person with a face and everything, but maybe he really just is. Oh, he gives him a tie too. Maybe he really just is a watermelon, and they're just like playing pretend or whatever. I don't know. Very strange. What the hell is up with Stanley?
He likes it. Wow!
No way.
His favorite.
I've always wondered, like, what is up with Jiggler being able to pull images off of the paper like that? It's like some kind of ability. Like, he grabs these colored lines straight off of right here. Very weird, but he left the word menu. I wonder if that was intentional. Yeah, he can just pull them straight off, and he leaves behind the shapes and colors of everything. I don't want to push this, like, robot theory too hard, but yeah, I don't know. What is up with that?
Wow!
No way.
His favorite food is drawings. Awesome.
And why is that? I wish we would get to explore like a mature Jiggler, like how they're supposed to interact with things and eat and that kind of thing. Like, why are they able to pull images off and eat them? That's so strange.
What food are you drawing now?
I'm drawing a picture of you.
Well, don't feed it me.
It says I'm stupid. You could argue that Finn is... Oh, Finn's left-handed right here. Was he left-handed earlier? He is, wow. Yeah, so Finn's left-handed here, and he's left-handed again in the next scene when he's drawing Jake. He's arguably ambidextrous. He's drawing with his left hand and writing with his right hand. That's interesting. So you could argue Finn is ambidextrous, though I can't remember if we see him writing a lot throughout the show, but I know in, I forget the name, but the Ice King Flame Princess fight episode, the breakup episode, Finn writes them a letter, and I wonder if he was left-handed or right-handed in that. I'll put the clip up to compare.
Keep it away.
The text bubble isn't connected to this image of Jake, but it stays like in like the same relative distance to him. I wonder if that's another ability or just an animation error.
I'll eat him. You gonna eat yourself, tough guy?
I taste awesome.
I wonder if that's another ability of the Jiggler, because I would imagine if he were to pull that off and Jake would eat it, it would just taste like paper and like crayons. But I wonder if the Jiggler is able to take off the images and have them taste as what they are. So like the watermelon would taste like watermelon, sorry Stanley. The hot dog would taste like hot dog. And since Finn thought they look like carrots or what are they called? Corn, that they really would taste like corn, even though it looks nothing like corn. So maybe that is an ability of the Jiggler. Or Jake is just talking, because they laugh about it right after.
Jiggler?
Ugh, what the heck?
I wonder what this juice is, because we know that like the mama Jiggler, she keeps them all in like this big bath of this juice. So maybe this is the mama Jiggler's juice, and you know, he keeps it in him to keep the smell of the mom for her to like recognize him. But he's so sick, he's just throwing up all that juice that is supposed to make him recognizable. And maybe he just holds it in there. Or maybe it's like their blood or something. I don't know. It's very weird. He loses like a lot of color after this. He was already losing color, but it gets like even worse after this.
What's wrong with him?
There's nothing wrong with him. We just gotta plug up his holes.
This is the second time where Finn is just like completely denied something like being wrong with the Jiggler and being like, oh, no, we just gotta do this. Because he's just a kid. He's just a dumb little idiot child.
That worked. Whoa. Quick, we gotta plug those holes.
Jake's so dumb. Why doesn't Jake just stretch out more arms to plug the holes? Duh. But instead he goes gets like eye patches and glass eyes.
All I can find is your glass eye collection.
What about your eye patch collection?
Such a specific thing to collect. They're both eye related too. I'm not even going to question it because it doesn't even come up again. And Jake comes out wearing all of them too.
One more patch. There. Finished. Ugh.
That's such a freaky sight. This always grossed me out as a kid.
We just need to take better care of you from now on, right, little guy?
Oh god, let me see that. Alright, let's break it down. This is a big explosion. Ugh, the juices are squirting. Ugh. So the eyes get shot out at all these different angles with the holes. And the eye patches start snapping because he's expanding too much. Oh, and then he's just like full circle right here, basically. Then oh god, look, he starts bursting. You know, where there aren't even holes already. Right here too, and here. Oh man. Oh, and he's like ripping. His skin rips open right here. Jesus. Oh man. Not good. And, oh, he's just flapping out. Oh, look at that. And look, part of his like ripped flaps are just flying all over. Let's see that. And they're sticking, swerving around. It kind of looks like on the freezer here. This kind of looks like a hand that grips right here. Maybe it is a hand. And it grips there. It's like silly putty or whatever. Ugh. It's like stretching. It's like stretching. It's not just like it exploded and the pieces are flapping over. It's all the parts are getting stretched out all over. It's making like more of itself, kind of similar to Jake's powers. Oh, it's all like twisted on itself and everything. Ugh, God. Oh, look, how does this even happen? It like busted off here, and then these parts came out, but they were also connected, and then this part got through. Jesus.
Don't worry, Jiggler.
It's coming out of its eyes and everything. But maybe these aren't its eyes. Maybe these are like its nipples.
Fix you.
Well, there's its mouth, but I don't know if it can whistle out of both.
It's all over the place. Even between the floorboards.
And the cupboard.
Got like a digital watch like nailed to here as like a clock.
Let's put them back together.
Well,
I used to be surprised that it worked, that they could just squish all the parts back together and he would stay together. But it is kind of like the Jiggler's almost like a silly putty kind of consistency, similar to Jake, how he's kind of like clay, but with the silly putty thing, it's just a little bit grosser, not quite as consistent. But yeah, they squish him back into this weird shape. He's just all kinds of fucked up.
sheesh. You think he's dead?
No way! I won't let you die, guy. Not this time.
Man, the music is like strangely really emotional, especially when they're not talking. Listen to this with headphones on. I'll crank the audio up a little bit and I'll try to see if I don't get this video taken down. But yeah, the music, very emotional. I'm surprised. Listen.
Sheesh. You think he's dead?
No way! I won't let you die, guy. Not this time.
Man, stop.
Oh my god, I'm like about to cry. That's really good. I never noticed that. That is like really kind of somber music. That is amazing. Jesus Christ.
Man, stop it, man. What are you doing?
I'm kissing him. What do you think? That's all I can think to do.
Just put him down.
God, and Finn is so desperate to save the Jiggler. I'm getting like emotional from the Jiggler episode. I just watched this the other day at my friend's house. I was like, this episode is so dumb. I'm not gonna have a lot to say about this one. But God, it's genuinely, I'm getting like choked up. Finn is doing everything in his power to save his little pet that he really cares about, and he's so desperate. All he can manage at this point, because he's tried everything, and he probably feels like it's kind of his fault for how the Jiggler is at this point, because it kind of is. And he's so sad, and he just loves it so much that all he can think to do is just start kissing it. And with that music too, oh my God. Man, they got me, dude. They got me. Good Lord. Ugh. And it works, too, in a way. The Jiggler starts kissing out a message for Finn. Wow.
Just put him down.
He's kissing colors with his dying breath.
One more point to the kind of robot theory is that the Jiggler, it kisses out this image similar to how computers print out images, kind of like color by color. It didn't like draw lines and stuff like a child would. It put like color, and it knew that they would mix together in a way like that, kind of how LCDs work. How they're really just 3 colors, but the way that they align them, it makes the whole spectrum of color and images. It's similar to how that is. I don't know enough about it to really get into detail of it, but you know, look it up. It's a very similar thing.
We took this child away from its mama, Jake.
His mom looks like she's out by Stanley's house, where we found the...
There's that stretching sound again. Listen to that. I'll play it again.
His mom looks like she's out by Stanley's house, where we found...
Weird.
If we get him back to her, she'll be able to fix him up.
Then there's no time to spare.
Yeah, he's way duller now after all that.
Perpendicular, it's the mama.
Perpendicular, that's a new one. I like that. Oh God, the snail looks weird. Look at that. It's usually not this off. I don't think the snail usually has like tendrils. Let me check, because I have it, and I'm checking on my old thumbnail thing, and it's kind of low quality. But yeah, it does have these, but it usually has little nubs on the top. I need to remake this. It's very low quality.
Look, the little guy wants to go home.
Well,
The lighting here too, it's similar to how it was in the Inkai Iridium with these very kind of soft shadows around the edges. They were doing a similar thing earlier, but I didn't point it out. But right here, it's very noticeable. And it's cool that they have this because this is kind of like a tree dome kind of thing. So sunlight would be able to like breach the branches. And it's cool to see that reflected here relatively accurately.
Be well.
And look at that, the way it sniffs with its nose. It's just the line around that divides the colors. It reminds me of the conductor, the fake conductor from Infinity Train, how it had that kind of line, and also the cult that followed it. But yeah, it reminds me of that. And then, you know, that's another kind of robotic thing that reminds me, that just kind of feeds to my theory. And then especially how it reacts. That always freaked me out, how the mom just like immediately turns on the kid and it flashes those colors again and starts attacking.
Stop that! What are we supposed to do now, man? We can't bring him home or he'll... Dang it! Why doesn't she love him? I love him, you love him, it's not fair! Mama's supposed to love baby! She's supposed to love baby! Huh?
Do you think Finn is kind of projecting here just a little bit? because we know that Finn was abandoned as a baby. Not really, but as far as Finn knows, he was abandoned. He had to be raised by Joshua and Margaret, who he loves as his mom and dad. That's all he's ever known. So obviously, you know, he loves them. But Finn obviously knows that they're not his real parents. And as far as Finn knows, at this point, he was abandoned on Boom Boom Mountain or whatever. He was abandoned in the forest as a baby. And so maybe he thinks his mom abandoned him too. And that's why he's latched on to this idea of parents are supposed to love their babies and they shouldn't abandon them like the mama Jiggler's trying to do here. So maybe there's a little bit of that there. And we know that the episode comes up soon later, Memories of Boom Boom Mountain. So this might have been an idea in their head. Maybe not the whole fleshed out thing with Min and Marty, but just that Finn is adopted and he wasn't raised by his real parents. So maybe he feels that kind of way. Maybe.
Oh, man!
Don't you recognize Rose?
I like the stars, the shapes in her eyes here. Almost like she's kind of sad. Like maybe she really does recognize her baby, but she can't smell her scent on it. So she thinks it's like sick. And maybe he is sick. Maybe she's just sad to see her baby sick and she doesn't even want to think anything about that. And she's kind of lashing out. They're both lashing out. They're both angry because the baby is sick and they want the best for the baby. Maybe. Jake comes out with like flat arms and hands. That's weird. But also the top of this is exposed, which I don't think is correct. We don't get like a top-down view of it. So maybe this is how it really looks from this perspective. But you would think it's like a whole dome. So whatever.
I figured it out, dude. It's the juice. Jiggler needs to smell like his mama's juice. That's how wild animals know what's going on. We gotta toss it in the soup, brother.
All right, I loved you, baby. Hope you know that. Word to your mother!
It works immediately too. That's great. I think it's whistling the baby song. He is. He's whistling the baby song that Finn was singing.
Aww.
I'll never kidnap again.
You said it. That was a nightmare.
Jake probably doesn't have as big of an issue with kidnapping as Finn does because he used to do them crimes. But Jake only was like, yeah, you said it. We're never going to kidnap again because it was just a handful. That's cute. But that's the episode. I had more to say about it than I thought. And I'll say more about it after this. All right. So what did I think? I didn't think much of it. Honestly, I'm surprised about what I did think of it. That emotional scene really surprised me, especially because like I mentioned in the video, I had just seen that episode the other day, and then I'm watching it again with the headphones on, really hearing the music when Finn is trying to resuscitate the Jiggler, and it really got me. I don't know why. I've always been kind of like an animal lover type of guy. I've always cared so much about my pets. Who doesn't? And to see Finn just being so desperate and obviously blaming himself for how the Jiggler has become, and he's doing everything in his hero power trying to bring the Jiggler back, trying to undo the mistakes he knows he made with the Jiggler. It really got to me, and especially paired with that like really heartwarming music. I don't know, it just got me. It really surprised me with how emotional that scene was. Other than that though, there isn't a whole lot to this episode. It's kind of a silly, kind of stupid episode. There were some jokes in here that I cut out of the video itself that I thought were just kind of dumb and childish. Oh my god, the 20-year-old man calls a children's show childish. Who would have guessed? But I know what I'm getting into. Some episodes aren't the best, some are amazing. And, you know, I take the good with the bad, the yin and the yang, if you will. Something I'm going to start doing with analysis time is when I'm done, like, analyzing the episode itself, I'm going to start going through the wiki and reading through, like, the trivia section to see if there's any cool stuff in there. And I skimmed it for this episode, and apparently I didn't even notice, didn't even point it out in the video. This is the first time we see the treehouse proper in the series, outside of the title sequence, of course. And that's pretty cool. And it's cool that they give you the panning shot of the treehouse and the top-down view to really get a good view of it, get familiar with it. I never noticed. Pretty cool. But aside from those few little things, again, not really a standout episode. I'm pretty sure the only time we ever even see the Jiggler again is in Come Along With Me, the series finale, where he's got like a briefcase and he's walking around at the very end when we see everybody's like lives as they go on. So that's pretty cool that this isn't the last time we see the Jiggler, especially seeing how emotionally connected the boys were with him. Interesting, but again, that is it. But let me know if you guys noticed anything about this episode or if anything stood out to you that I didn't notice. But really, I don't really have a lot else to say. I keep scratching my nose about this episode. Next episode up on the docket is Ricardio the Heart Guy. I fucking hate that heart guy. But speaking of episodes, let me know what your guys' favorite episode is. Let me know down in the comments, and I'll probably give you a shout out when we get to that episode. My personal favorite episode is What Was Missing, with my favorite song in the show. Can't even think of the name of it. My Best Friends in the World. Favorite show, favorite episode, favorite song from the show, from the episode. How about that? So again, let me know your favorite episode, your favorite character, your favorite song, your favorite detail, favorite art quirk, whatever. Just let me know what you think about the show. I'm letting y'all know everything I think about every single episode. So feel free to tell me anything you think about anything in this show. And with that, I've got nothing else to say. So later.